Hi, I'm Bill from CJ Pony Parts. Without a doubt, one of the most popular interior upgrades for the 2015 and up Mustang has been the GT350 steering wheel. Whether you prefer the red or the original one, the Alcantara just gives the car a really nice, rich feel. If you love the feel of the Alcantara interior, we've already showed you how to install a console lid cover. Today we're going to take it one step further by showing you how to install an Alcantara shift boot on your 2015 and up Mustang. These shift boots are available in two different versions. A lighter colored one with silver stitching, which will match your stock wheel or your GT350 standard wheel, or the darker one with the red stitching, which is designed to match the GT350R wheel. These are going to be direct replacements for the factory boot and will require gluing for installation. For this installation, you'll get a Dremel or a small drill bit, a flathead screwdriver, and adhesive. The first step in the installation is going to be to remove the shift knobs, and then we can remove the shift boot. To get the shift boot off, there's a little rubber tray here. Pull the tray out first. Then you get a grip on the front, and there's going to be clips all the way around that hold it on. Now we're going to separate the lockout from the shifter mechanism. In our case, we actually have an aftermarket lockout. We have a Barton on this car. If you have the stock one, you simply pull these three clips, one here, and one here, pull back on them and it'll pop out. The Barton's going to be a little bit harder because it's one solid ring all the way around the bottom. Unfortunately, the next step, I don't have a stock lockout to show you how to use it because like I said, our car has a Barton lockout on it. You need to see a detailed video, watch the Barton lockout video and we'll show you how to do this. But basically there's going to be a separate ring up here that's going to hold the boot in place. What you have to do is just carefully kind of trim all these off to get the ring to separate, usually pry it off, and then the factory lockout will remove and you'll have just the boot itself. The next step in the process of removing the boot from the trim ring is 11 plastic rivets. Basically what you have to do is grind down the head so you can separate the trim ring here from the main trim ring. To do that, either get a small drill and drill the heads or use a Dremel. Now that they're separated, we're going to carefully pry the two apart. Should come apart pretty easily. At this point now, we can peel the factory boot off this trim ring. I mean, a knife to get you started, but usually you just grab a corner and it'll come off pretty easily. What you want to do is kind of clean this up, make sure you got all of the remnants, or as much as you can anyway, off of the original, or else the new one won't stay right. Now we're going to lay down some adhesive, which is going to basically hold this to our trim ring here. Put some around the edge of the trim ring, also some on the boot itself. Be careful not to get it on the Alcantara itself. We're using 3M trim adhesive. Any kind of trim adhesive will work fine. Now we'll let that set up for a minute or two, let it get tacky, and start assembling. While we're waiting for it to get tacky, I should mention, you'll see there's two cutouts on the one side of the shift boot. Those two cutouts are for these two back corners, so make sure you install with the correct orientation when you put it on. Once we get it fitted then, again, let it sit for another couple minutes, make sure it's nice and tacky, and we can move on to the trim ring. Before it sets up all the way, to install the chrome trim ring, we're going to grab some super glue this time. It's going to be a lot easier. You don't want to use spray glue at this point because you will get some on the suede. What we'll do is this black edge here, put some glue on it. Now you're going to grab your chrome trim ring. Don't put any glue on this because, again, as you go down over the suede, you'll probably end up touching it. Push it down, you'll actually feel it pop into place. Remnants of other rivets will line up. I'm just going to hold that, leave some pressure on it, let the glue dry up a little bit. Now, if you're running the stock lockout, you're going to have to glue it on just like the original was. Like I said, in our case, using Barton, which is a part we recommend, we're going to do here, this just gets zip tied in place. We'll have to open this up just slightly. The boot around that lip there and then zip tie it in place. Now we're ready to reinstall. We're going to reinstall by sliding the lockout down into place first. Slide the boot down, line up the tabs, and lock it into place. And your installation's finished. The shift boot, when it's installed, looks just like a factory part. It's a perfect match for the GT350 wheel, and it matches really well with the other two components we installed earlier. The knob just is topping on the cake and really makes the whole interior come together. As far as installation, figure about an hour and be back on the road in no time.